Welcome to our deep dive today.
Oh, yeah.
We're tackling artificial intelligence in post-secondary education.
That's right.
Specifically, we're looking at this U.S. Department of Education brief from January 2025 called Navigating Artificial Intelligence in Post-Secondary Education, Building Capacity for the Road Ahead.
Right.
This brief, it's not just about teaching students about AI.
Yeah.
It's about colleges using AI to change how they operate.
That's a key insight. And it's really fascinating how colleges are taking on this dual role.
Right.
On one hand, they need to prepare students for an AI-driven world.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, they're trying to figure out how to use AI to make education better and more accessible.
Right.
And this isn't just for elite universities.
Right.
This brief is meant to be a roadmap for all kinds of institutions.
Oh.
From community colleges to technical schools.
Okay, so let's look at their recommendations.
Yeah.
The first one that stood out to me was transparency. They're saying that anytime AI is used in a way that impacts students, everyone needs to understand how it's working.
If you think about it, this is so crucial for trust.
Yeah.
Imagine you're applying to college.
Oh, gosh.
And an AI is part of the admissions process.
Yeah.
But you have no idea how it's making decisions, what factors it's considering, or how those factors are weighted.
Right.
It's like this mysterious black box that's shaping your future.
Oh, that would make me so nervous.
Exactly.
I'd want to know what was going on behind the scenes.
And that's why the brief emphasizes clear policies and open communication.
Okay.
Everyone,
from
students to faculty to staff,
should
know how data is used and how AI is being used in decision-making.
They bring up stealth assessment. I have to admit, that name sounds a little creepy to me.
Yeah.
Like, is AI secretly evaluating everything I'm doing?
It's not quite that dramatic.
Okay.
The idea is to gather data about student learning in a way that doesn't interrupt their workflow.
Okay.
Imagine an AI tool that can give you immediate feedback on a project without you having to stop and take a separate test.
Okay, that actually sounds really useful.
It could be incredibly beneficial.
Yeah.
But there's a catch.
What's that?
Stealth assessment raises some serious questions about privacy.
Okay.
You know, if data is being collected on everything you're doing, you should know exactly what's being collected, how it's being used, and who has access to it.
Okay, so there needs to be.
This is where clear policies and open discussions with the entire campus are really vital.
It reminds me of the other example they use, continuous monitoring for safety. Are we talking about AI-powered security cameras?
That's the general idea.
Okay.
Proponents argue that AI can help identify potential safety threats on campus.
Okay.
But as you can imagine, this raises some really big questions.
Yeah, like what?
Does it actually prevent problems?
No.
Or just create an atmosphere of suspicion? And then what about the potential for bias?
Right.
You know, if the AI is trained on biased data, it could end up unfairly flagging certain groups of students.
Right. That's a really important point.
Absolutely.
It seems like with these technologies, we have to really weigh the benefits against the risks.
And that brings us to their second recommendation.
Okay.
Building the right infrastructure.
Okay.
And they're not just talking about technology here.
Right. They make it clear that it's not enough to have the computers and software.
Right.
You need the human infrastructure, too.
Exactly.
Meaning training and AI literacy for everyone on campus.
And not just for the IT department.
Right.
You know, they're talking about equipping faculty, staff, and even students with knowledge and skills to interact with these systems effectively and ethically.
Yeah, so you could have, like...
Imagine a professor trying to incorporate AI tools into their classroom without understanding how they work.
Yeah, that would be...
That could lead to some disastrous results.
Right, that would be a problem.
The brief also highlights a crucial aspect, digital equity.
Okay.
Not all students have equal access to technology.
Right.
And this is a significant barrier.
Yeah.
If colleges are serious about using AI to improve education, they need to make sure all students have the resources to participate.
So it's not just about the technology, it's about creating an environment where everyone can benefit.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And this is where AI literacy comes in.
Okay.
They describe it as understanding the rules of the road for AI. You know, knowing how it works.
Okay.
What it's good at, what its limitations are.
Right.
And what the potential societal impacts are.
So it's not about...
It's not about turning everyone into a computer programmer.
Yeah.
It's about critical thinking skills.
Yeah.
In a world where AI is increasingly prevalent.
And a really important part of this is professional development for faculty.
That's right.
The brief highlights Carnegie Mellon as a leader in this.
Yeah, they've got specific programs designed to help instructors not just learn about AI, but to actually become AI innovators in their classrooms.
So they're showing how faculty can shape how AI is used.
That's right.
That's a great example.
Absolutely.
So we've talked about transparency and infrastructure. What's the next big thing?
The third recommendation is all about testing and evaluation.
Okay.
And they break this down into two really important parts.
Okay, so two sides of the same coin.
Exactly.
Yeah.
First, they emphasize ensuring that AI systems used in education are safe, fair, and protect student privacy.
Right.
This is absolutely critical.
Yeah.
You know, we've seen examples in other areas where AI systems perpetuate bias, often unintentionally, because of the data they were trained on.
Right. It's like that saying, garbage in, garbage out.
Precisely.
Right.
If you train an AI on biased data, you're going to get biased results.
So colleges need to check for this bias.
It's not just about being fair to individual applicants. It's about ensuring that colleges are building diverse student bodies.
Right.
That reflect our society.
And then there's also privacy.
Exactly.
I can't imagine being comfortable with an AI that tracks everything I do on campus.
That's why the brief stresses the importance of data governance frameworks.
Okay.
And clear policies about how student data can be used.
So students have a right to know how their data is being used.
Absolutely.
Okay, so that's the first part of testing and evaluation. What about the second part?
The second part focuses on making sure the AI actually works. It's not enough to just assume that because an AI can do something, that it should be done.
Yeah.
Colleges need to conduct research to determine if these tools are actually improving learning.
So it's about moving beyond the hype.
Right. We need to know what works.
Yeah.
For whom. And under what conditions.
So they're pushing for evidence-based decision-making.
Exactly. We need to make sure these technologies are truly benefiting students.
That makes a lot of sense.
And that leads us to their next recommendation, which focuses on the power of collaboration.
Okay, so they're encouraging partnerships.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Colleges should team up with tech companies, researchers, and other schools to gain expertise and resources.
Are there any good examples of this?
The brief highlights a few really interesting ones.
Oh, like what?
For example, the Institute of Education Sciences has a network called CERNet that helps researchers study how AI is being used in learning platforms. And then there's Arizona State University. They've launched an AI Innovation Challenge to encourage people to come up with creative ways to use AI.
So they're fostering innovation and collaboration.
They are. Yeah. And it's generating some promising results.
Yeah.
The brief also mentions an example from CUNY.
Okay.
They used AI to create a tool that actually helped more students graduate.
Wow, that's great.
They leveraged AI to identify students who are at risk of dropping out and give them support services.
So that's awesome.
It's a great example of how AI can be used to improve student success.
That's really inspiring.
There is a lot of potential for AI to be used for good in education.
Yeah.
But it's important to remember that AI is a tool.
Right.
It can be used in positive or negative ways.
It all comes down to how we use it.
Exactly.
Right, and it sounds like this brief from the Department of Education is a good starting point for thinking about this.
I completely agree.
Okay.
It provides a framework for thinking about these issues.
Yeah.
And encourages an ethical approach to AI.
Okay, so we've talked about transparency, infrastructure, testing, and collaboration. What's the last recommendation?
This one focuses on the future of work. You know how AI is rapidly changing the job market?
Yeah.
Colleges have a responsibility to prepare students for the jobs of tomorrow.
Right.
That means equipping them with the skills they'll need to thrive in an AI-driven world.
So it's not just about teaching students how to use AI. It's about helping them understand how AI will impact their fields.
Exactly.
And what skills they'll need to be successful.
We're talking about skills like critical thinking, creativity, communication.
Right.
You know, the kinds of skills that AI can't replace.
Those are valuable in any field.
Absolutely.
Whether or not AI is involved.
AI literacy is becoming really important.
Yeah.
Students need to understand how AI works.
Right.
What it can do.
Yeah.
And how it might be used in their professions.
So are there any examples of how colleges are adapting to this?
There are some really interesting initiatives underway.
Oh, like what?
The University of Florida. They've launched an AI across the curriculum initiative to ensure AI literacy for all students.
Wow, that sounds ambitious.
It is.
Yeah?
And then there's Barnard College.
Okay.
They developed an AI literacy framework
Okay.
with different levels,
Uh-huh.
from understanding AI to actually creating AI systems.
Wow. So students can choose their own AI adventure.
And then there's all the groundbreaking work in scientific research.
Right.
AI is already transforming fields like drug discovery.
Yeah.
Researchers are using AI to develop new medicines.
So AI is already having a big impact on post-secondary education.
We are just at the beginning of this journey.
And it's an exciting time to be involved.
There are so many opportunities to use AI to improve learning, enhance teaching, and prepare students for the future.
But it's important to remember that AI is a tool.
Absolutely.
We need to be mindful of the potential benefits and risks.
It all comes down to how we choose to use it.
That's a really important point.
This brief from the Department of Education is a good starting point for having those conversations.
It lays out a framework for us.
It encourages a thoughtful and ethical approach.
Well, it looks like we have a lot more ground to cover in our deep dive
We do.
on AI in post-secondary education.
Yeah.
Let's take a break and we'll be back to delve deeper. You know, as we're talking about all these big ideas, transparency, infrastructure, testing, and collaboration.
Right.
I'm curious how this is actually playing out at colleges and universities.
That's a great question.
Yeah.
It's important to look beyond the theory.
Yeah.
And see how AI is being used in practice.
Right.
One area we're seeing a lot of activity is admissions.
Admissions is such a high-stakes process.
It is.
For students, it can feel like a mysterious black box. You send in your application and you just wait anxiously.
Exactly.
Now we've got AI entering the picture.
And the brief acknowledges that AI can help streamline admissions.
Okay.
But it emphasizes that it needs to be done fairly and transparently.
So no more black boxes.
That's the goal.
Okay.
Institutions need to be upfront about how they're using AI in admissions.
Right.
What data is being considered.
Yeah.
And how that data is weighted.
Because even if an AI system is designed with good intentions, it could still perpetuate biases.
It could.
If the data reflects historical inequities, the AI could just replicate those in its decisions.
That's a crucial point.
Yeah.
It's not just about being fair to applicants.
Right.
It's about ensuring that colleges are building diverse student bodies that reflect society.
It seems like transparency is key to building trust in these systems.
It really is.
And it's not just in admissions.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Transparency is essential across the board.
Like where else?
Let's take enrollment.
Okay.
It's often a complex and confusing process.
It is.
For both students and institutions.
Yeah.
Students are trying to figure out course requirements, financial aid forms, deadlines.
Yeah.
And colleges are trying to predict enrollment numbers.
Okay.
So they can allocate resources.
Oh, it can be a logistical nightmare.
It can.
Yeah.
But AI has the potential to make it much smoother.
Okay. How?
It can help personalize the enrollment process for students, guiding them to the right resources and answering questions.
Yeah.
And it can give institutions data on enrollment trends.
Okay.
So they can adjust course offerings and staffing.
So it's about efficiency.
Exactly.
And making it user-friendly.
We need to be very careful, though.
About what?
To make sure that these AI systems are designed with equity and accessibility in mind.
So some students aren't left behind.
Exactly.
So it's not just about efficiency.
Right.
It's about making sure everyone benefits.
Precisely.
Okay.
And this brings us to another area where AI is having an impact.
Okay, what's that?
Resource allocation.
Okay.
Colleges have to make tough decisions about how to allocate resources.
Right, because they have limited resources.
And AI can help make those decisions more data-driven.
So AI can help colleges figure out how to get the most out of their money.
It could.
Oh.
AI can analyze a lot of data.
Yeah.
To find areas where funding is most needed.
Okay.
And track the impact of investments.
So it could lead to better outcomes for students?
It could. But there's also a risk that AI could make existing inequities worse.
Right. If the data is biased.
If the data is skewed or incomplete,
the
AI could end up directing resources to already privileged groups.
So we can't just rely on the algorithms.
Human oversight is really important.
Okay.
We need people who can identify bias in the data.
Yeah.
And interpret the results.
Okay. Yeah.
And make decisions in the best interests of all students.
It's about finding the balance between the AI and human judgment.
That's a really important point.
Yeah.
AI is a tool.
Uh-huh.
It can help people.
Right.
But it should never replace human intelligence.
Right.
or empathy or ethical decision-making.
Okay, so we've been talking about the administrative side of things.
Yeah.
But what about the classroom?
That's where the real magic happens.
Right. That's where students are learning.
And the classroom is where we're seeing some of the most exciting applications of AI.
Yeah, we've talked about things like adaptive learning and feedback systems, but I'm really interested in personalized learning.
Yeah, that's a powerful idea.
Yeah.
That education should be tailored to each student.
Right.
But it's always been hard to implement.
Yeah.
In traditional classrooms.
Right. You've got one teacher and 30 students.
With their own needs.
It seems impossible to do well.
But AI could be the key to unlocking personalized learning.
Okay, I like that.
AI can help us finally achieve personalized learning.
Okay.
AI systems can track student progress, identify strengths and weaknesses, and recommend personalized learning pathways.
So they get the support they need.
And AI can even create custom learning materials.
Wow, it's like having a personal tutor available all the time.
Imagine every student having a learning experience that helps them reach their potential.
That's amazing.
But
are there any challenges to implementing this?
We need to be mindful of equity and inclusion.
Right, so everyone benefits.
We don't want to leave anyone behind.
Yeah.
And we need to think about the ethics of data.
Right, student privacy is really important.
We need to make sure these systems protect student privacy.
Yeah.
And empower them to control their own data.
So it comes back to how we use the technology to benefit all students and protect their privacy.
There are people who are understandably nervous about AI in education.
Yeah.
Some people worry that AI will replace teachers.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that too.
Or dehumanize learning.
Yeah.
Or create a dystopian future.
Right, where robots are running the schools.
Those are valid concerns.
Yeah.
But it's important to remember AI is a tool.
Right.
We decide how to use it.
Okay.
We can use it to improve education.
Yeah.
Support teachers. Help students succeed.
Or we can use it in a way that makes things worse.
The choice is ours.
And this brief from the Department of Education seems like a step in the right direction.
It's a call to action for colleges to think carefully about AI.
And to use it ethically.
It's a reminder that AI isn't a magic solution. It's a powerful tool.
Right.
That needs to be used responsibly.
Okay, so what are some key takeaways for our listeners?
I think one of the biggest takeaways is that AI is here to stay.
Okay.
It's only going to become more common.
So colleges need to be ready.
They need to adapt and evolve.
It's not a question of if, but when.
Exactly.
Okay.
But it's not enough to just react.
Right.
Institutions need to be proactive.
Yeah.
Thinking strategically about how they can use AI to reach their goals.
So we need to shift our mindset from seeing AI as a threat to seeing it as an opportunity.
I think that's a great way to put it.
Okay.
It's not just about the technology.
Yeah.
It's about the mindset.
Right.
Thinking about ethics, equity, and the human side of education.
So this brief is a guide.
It is.
But the real work happens at each individual school.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Faculty, staff, and students need to be part of this conversation.
Right. So we need to hear from everyone.
We need to bring everyone together to ensure AI benefits everyone.
This is about the future of education.
It is.
We all have a responsibility to make sure it's a good future.
We need to create a future.
Yeah.
Where education is more equitable, more effective, and more empowering.
That's a great vision.
It reminds us that even with all this technology, the human element is still the most important.
That's a good point.
And that brings us to another crucial point.
Okay, what's that?
It's the role of human judgment.
Okay.
As AI systems get more advanced, it's tempting to just let the algorithms make all the decisions.
Right, because they seem so smart.
But we can't just give up that responsibility.
We still need humans to be involved.
We need to be intentional about how we use AI in decision-making.
Okay.
Figuring out where AI can help us. And where humans need to be in charge.
That seems like a big challenge.
It is.
Yeah.
But it's a challenge we have to face.
Right.
We need to have these tough conversations. And make choices that reflect our values.
And that benefit everyone.
That's a powerful message.
It seems like this deep dive is going beyond just AI.
Yes.
And getting into ethics and philosophy. What does it mean to be human in a technological world?
That's the question we need to be asking.
Yeah.
AI is not just a tool.
It's more than that.
It's a mirror. It reflects our values, our biases, and our hopes.
And how we use it will determine our future.
Exactly.
I think that's a great place to pause for a moment. AI as a mirror.
Yeah.
it makes you think about how we're shaping this technology.
It's a responsibility that goes beyond education.
Right.
As AI is used in more parts of our lives, we all need to be thinking about its impact.
And advocating for ethical use.
Exactly.
You know, we've been talking about all these different aspects of AI in education.
Right.
Transparency, infrastructure, testing, collaboration. The future of work.
Right.
There's a common thread.
Like that.
The tension between the potential benefits and the risks.
Yeah, right.
AI has these incredible opportunities to personalize learning, make things more efficient, prepare students.
Right.
But there are concerns about bias, privacy, equity.
And the role of human judgment.
You've got it.
This tension is at the heart of the conversation.
And figuring this out requires leadership and planning.
And a willingness to keep talking about it.
This Department of Education brief seems like a really good starting point.
It is.
It lays out some key principles and recommendations.
Yeah.
But the real work will happen at each school.
That's right.
As faculty, staff, and students work through these issues.
And it's important to remember.
Yeah.
There's no one solution that works for everyone.
Okay.
How AI is used will vary, depending on the context, the students, and the institution.
So it's about finding the right approach for each situation.
And that means constant learning,
right.
Experimentation, adaptation.
So we have to be willing to try things out.
We can't be afraid to fail.
But we have to learn from those mistakes.
Exactly.
So this is a journey, not a destination.
I think that's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
We're all learning about AI.
Right.
And we need to be humble and willing to collaborate.
And the brief really emphasizes collaboration.
Yeah.
Not just within schools.
But between schools,
right.
And even between different sectors, collaboration is essential.
We have to share what we learn.
Pool resources.
Yeah.
Work together to figure this out.
So it's not about competition, it's about cooperation.
We're all in this together.
And we want AI to benefit all students.
Regardless of their background or their goals.
That's a great goal to have.
Is.
But it can feel overwhelming thinking about all the work ahead.
It's a big task.
Yeah.
But I'm optimistic.
Oh, what makes you feel hopeful?
I see people becoming more aware of these issues.
Okay.
And I see a lot of energy for finding solutions.
What else are you seeing?
A lot of creative approaches to AI in education from all over the world.
Wow, that's great.
I see educators who are excited about using AI to help their students, and students who are excited to learn about AI.
So there's a new generation that's comfortable with AI.
They see it as a tool.
Yeah.
And they want to use it to make a difference.
So what can our listeners do to stay involved in this conversation?
Stay curious. Keep learning.
Yeah.
Talk to people. Read articles.
Go to events.
Don't be afraid to ask questions.
The more we know,
yeah,
the better we can shape the future.
And remember, this is about people.
Right, not just technology.
We want to make education better for everyone.
I love that.
More equitable, more effective, more empowering.
This has been a great conversation.
It has.
Thank you for joining us for this deep dive on AI in post-secondary education.
My pleasure.
This is just the beginning.
Keep exploring, keep learning, and keep asking questions.
The future is in our hands.